Thank you for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us here on the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. We got the gang back together.
Ew.
I am Brad Galli. That's Mike Stone from 97.1 The Ticket, and Matt Dery from Detroit Sports 105.1. Big day, big show today.
Oh,
big show.
Can't wait.
We've got Joique Bell from the Detroit Lions joining us live here in studio. We're going to relive the magic that was the Nicholas Lidstrom retirement ceremony and what that means for this town and who could be next with their jersey up in the rafters. But first things first, with Joique joining us live, free agency in the NFL is on our minds, as it always really is. Yesterday, teams could officially start talking to agents. Ndamukong Suh, the big name in town, he's found an agent in Jimmy Sexton. He's got to restructure his deal at some point for this team to live on. $22.5 million he's owed this upcoming season, at least as a cap hit. What's the Lions' biggest concern going into free agency now?
Well, they got to get Suh signed, okay, if they want to do anything. But as free agency, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. It'd be better if they got him signed first. But I'm not necessarily sure that Ndamukong Suh's so willing to sign that extension.
I disagree. I think I think he wants to be here, and I think he's taking his sweet old time. And because this organization has sort of had a certain culture where players are given a long rope, I think it's almost like, hey, we'll wait for you, Suh. To me, this thing should be done already. And I've been on his side for a long time. I believe he's a terrific player, and they need him.
How could it have been done if he just got his agent?
But to me, when you're buddies with Worldwide Wes and you sit courtside at Pistons games with him, and Wes is now at CAA, you know when to fire Roosevelt Barnes months ago, it's either going to be Wes or it's going to be Jay-Z. Make the choice and help the organization.
That's what should have been done
earlier.
earlier.
I understand, but you're saying that the Lions, you thought it should have been done by now. How can the Lions have done that?
No, I'm saying the Lions obviously need him,
right? But
a little bit of a shoving, like, hey, Ndamukong, you're with us, right? You sat in when we had Jim Caldwell in town and you met him, right? We need you by Tuesday. Can you hurry it up a little bit?
Don't forget his sister also said they couldn't wait to get out of here 4 years ago.
That was years ago.
Listen, you said they set the precedent when they gave the long leash for Matthew, re-signing him to that extension last year in July.
That was a good move.
Hey. And
oh,
with Calvin the year before, the same deal.
Yeah.
Setting that precedent and giving him that long leash, I think a lot of people are worried because he is who he is and being Ndamukong, and he's got this mind of his own, and he's got a bigger picture maybe than Matthew and Calvin have with the Subway commercials and everything else that he does. Should people be worried that this deal might not get done and they'll be cash strapped with this $22.5 against the cap?
I mean, I think Stoney will back me up on this. They're going to sign some people. They're $12 million under the cap.
Correct.
No, and they have more space than they did last year when they picked up Glover Quinn, Reggie Bush, and Jason Jones.
They did a good job last year. But the old coach, I mean, Jimmy Handshake said it after he took the job in Buffalo. We didn't have enough depth. Well, if you don't have enough depth, and you've cut Delmas, and you've cut Burleson, you need help at receiver. You need a free safety. You need a couple more corners. Heck, probably an outside linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't it help you to say, we got the deal done with Suh. We saved ourselves $8 million more. So instead of 12, we have 20. Mm-hmm. Plus, part of that 12 or 20 is signing your first round, your draft picks also.
They want to get guys that aren't superstars through free agency. They want to get the guys that are going to fit in. Guys, I don't know. Lance Moore, everybody's talking wide receiver because he played for Lombardi.
Yep.
Jeremy Maclin. Philly let him go.
Lance Moore.
What? Not as a number 2, as a number 3 guy.
Yeah, they need a number 2.
They need a number 2.
Well,
they
have to
find
probably
a good
number 3 also.
Well, Lance Moore would be a decent number 3.
Right, but they don't. But they only have $12 million to spend. Remember this, guys. Sam Shields, who, by the way, I cannot believe is back with the Packers at $9 million a year. Every agent, Drew Rosenhaus just fleeced the Packers. He's an average cornerback on a bad Green Bay defense. Just got $9 million a year.
What's Werner going to get?
Right, so Werner, the kid from Tennessee now, is probably licking his chops. So all of a sudden, the Lions thought, okay, maybe a corner for $4 million, a safety for $6 million, blah, blah.
You're right, the price went up. What's his face in Cleveland? Right. Ward.
Well, that's who I want the Lions to go get.
And they don't get him. Chris Clemens, who played in Miami, is pretty good.
Clemens is better against the pass than Ward is, but Ward was a Pro Bowler. Right. Anybody's better than Louis Delmas.
We've talked since this show started that they need help at cornerback.
Oh, yes.
Without a doubt, that's the number one concern. They've got to make a play for one of the top guys in this market. That's the first move they have to go out and make, and they've got to get a safety to help out Quinn in the back.
I think they need a safety first, though, guys. Don't you think?
Well, maybe they're looking to draft him.
The cornerback's been a problem since they lost to New Orleans in the playoffs 2 years ago.
But the problem is that this general manager drafted Jonte Green, Chris Greenwood, Darius Slay, Bill Bentley.
They think these guys are really good.
But they're all still on the roster. Right. So if you sign another one and then say, well, we might draft another one down the road, how many can you want to have a lot, but you can't if you sign one, he has to play.
They might draft
Slay
one.
was a second-round pick last year. He has to play.
They might draft one with the 10th pick of the draft. You never know.
They could.
I think they're drafting a receiver.
That madness is just getting underway. We'll touch more on maybe Sammy Watkins and that pick later on in the show. Little tidbit to drop in there for you. As that madness unfolds, we're getting near the March Madness that everyone loves here in town and across the country. March Madness with Michigan and Michigan State in the Big Ten tournament kicking off this week. Michigan State wraps up their season today. Michigan, of course, winning and wrapping up that title for the first time ever. And they looked good yesterday, finishing off an Indiana team that has been up and down this year. Right now, Joe Lunardi has Michigan as a 3 seed in the South Regional starting in Milwaukee. Michigan State as a 4 seed in the West starting off in Orlando. Where are they today as teams? And when we're talking here next week on Selection Sunday, where are they? Yeah.
As seeds? I think Michigan is probably the best 3 seed out there. If things go in the tournaments that help them, if they win the Big Ten tournament, they would probably
jump
be
up to 2?
A 2 seed.
What an indictment on the Big Ten.
Right.
Because the Big Ten was supposedly the best conference in college basketball, and Michigan had 15 wins. Is incredible in conference. Nobody's done that in I think since the Ohio State like 3-4 years ago. That's pretty impressive. But to have them as a 3.
They might only get 6 teams in. Most people thought they'd get 7 or 8.
Oh, they're getting 6.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's 6. But to have them as a 3, to me, if Michigan wins the Big Ten tournament, they should be a 2.
Right, if they win the Big Ten tournament.
And this talk of Wisconsin being a 1, and I know they came into Chrysler and won. Wisconsin's not a 1.
That's silly. Not at all. The good thing about, I think, for both teams, Michigan State, I mean, obviously they're hampered with injuries and they're not exactly going in hot. They've been better. They're on the upward trend. Michigan, without a doubt, on the upward trend as well. I'm not scared of anyone, if I'm a college basketball coach or fan, of anyone in this tournament. I know Syracuse, your team, is look good, but there's no top tier right now. There's a group of about 15 that's solid, but I'm not afraid of anybody.
10. And look, everybody's Wichita State, okay? They're undefeated.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's a fluke. They were in the Final Four last year.
They're 1 seed.
And then they played great.
I'm not shaving my boots looking at Wichita State.
I don't think anybody should. The team that's probably played the best in the country besides that is Florida.
Florida's good.
Yeah.
Florida's scary good.
I would have said Kansas, and they lost yesterday, and they haven't exactly looked great of late.
No, but that's the bet that they're playing in the best conference.
Big 12.
The Big 12 is the best, and they might get 8 in. I think if Kansas wins the Big 12 tournament, they get a 1 seed. You mentioned Michigan State.
Yeah.
Let's localize it for a second here. Let's localize. When you talk about what MSU is doing right now, the narrative is, well, wait till March, and Tom will get them back and running. They don't look good enough. They just don't look good enough.
No.
They don't talk defensively. They're not athletic. Outside of Dawson, the Payne looks like he's playing in quicksand right now. His legs look dead. They better turn it up and quick.
They played better against Iowa, obviously, to get the win. And the other thing is, are they better off, and I don't know the answer to this, having a long run in the Big Ten tournament and going in hot, or not doing great in the Big Ten tournament and having almost a week of practice?
I'll tell you what Tom Izzo would say. Get done with that conference tournament as fast as you can. He never puts weight in that thing.
Yeah, but they need to have some sort of positive momentum.
Right.
I mean, today they're going to go into Ohio State. It's going to be senior day. Aaron Kraft. I mean, it'll be a full-bodied lather for Kraft all day, especially the announcers.
This is the 7th year? I don't know.
Kraft?
Yeah.
8.
He's that's Jeff Settles territory. Oh, my God.
Hey, this week I saw you down there.
Yeah.
Nicholas Lidstrom retiring the number, the perfect human. Fantastic. Is this the last time for a while we'll see a number retired? Because this was a big topic, and this is where we want you to weigh in on Twitter. Use the hashtag 7SportsCave and tell us who you think the next Detroit athlete will be to have their number retired. It's a hot topic.
Well, the difference is who will be and who should be.
Yeah.
Don't get him started. I don't even need to be
in
this
discussion. Well, no,
discussion.
because every organization
This is one of Stoney's favorite discussions, boy.
Every organization has something different. So I think the person who will have the next jersey retired will be Ben Wallace.
And I don't disagree. Should he be? I don't know.
I think the next jersey that should be retired should either be Cabrera or Verlander.
On the Hall of Fame basis?
The next jersey that I think will be retired will be Chauncey Billups.
Before Ben? Really?
Yes. I haven't seen Ben around, and that's a little weird. I think Chauncey's number because I think he's going to stay in the organization.
Wow. Yeah. Well, see, though, that's like we said. Every organization does things
right, exactly. But they won a championship, and obviously his will go up probably next. But Stoney's right. Miguel Cabrera's number, that's a no-brainer.
Right. Verlander stays on track. He does the same thing.
Correct.
For me, you have to be a Hall of Famer to have your number retired. But like you said with the Pistons, I mean, they'll retire anyone, respectfully, to sell tickets and make that a night, make it an event.
I won't go that far.
They won a championship. Like everybody nationally right now is sort of mocking what Cleveland did last night, retiring Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
But he meant so much. See, it's different. teams that don't have a history of winning, it's okay. I mean, the Washington Capitals have Yvonne LeBray's jersey retired. He was like their first player. I mean,
who?
Ivan LeBray of the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, you are reaching.
Well, nobody knows. That's the point. Each individual.
Yeah, but you do. This guy knows everything.
Well, that's because I worked there. I was there. I mean, the Cavaliers, who's retired up there?
Doherty, Price, Nance,
great
right?
players,
And they didn't win
but
anything.
they weren't Hall of
They didn't
Famers.
win anything.
Right.
That's Cleveland, baby.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
To me, Big Z means more than those guys because at least he played in the finals with LeBron.
It's an interesting discussion. We'll talk much more about Lidstrom later on because this guy did mean a lot to this town and meant a lot with this team. Well, when we walk on the streets and people ask me about the show, talk to me, the one thing they love to talk about is our guy Jeremy Johnson. When people see him, they laugh, and guess what? He's back. That's up after the break on the 7 Sports Cave. Buckle up.
The Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave is powered by Suburban.
Well, let's continue that discussion about what number should be retired in town next. We want your opinion. Weigh in on Twitter. Hashtag 7 Sports Cave. Our boy Mike Foss in the control room monitoring everything.
Big Mike.
Big Mike, what's going on, bud?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Plenty of people weighing in already on the discussion on social media about who should be the next number retired in Detroit, getting plenty of opinions. Let's go to them. Our buddy Max says Ben Wallace definitely going to be the next jersey retired. That's just how the Pistons are. Fred says number 3, Ben Wallace, and then Matt Stafford. Interesting opinion there.
God, I would love it if Matthew Stafford before
Freddie,
Calvin.
I know Freddie. He's eating too much pizza.
Here's one from Joseph. He says the next Detroit retired number should be Brandon Inge.
Well, for sure, without a doubt.
And then we also had another one saying that Stoney should be the next one retired, giving his own phone number. Guys, back to
That's
you.
right.
Oh, for years ago.
Stoney gave out his home phone number on the radio one time by accident.
Yeah,
We'll find a banner to hang that from up here.
exactly.
Let's talk about the Wings for a minute, because when you look at those guys that were here for all those Stanley Cups, Sergei Fedorov's an interesting one, because he'll be a Hall of Famer, 483 goals, 3 Stanley Cups, won an MVP trophy, was one of the best players in the league for a long time, but wasn't exactly a fan favorite with the whole Carolina deal and the way he left town. Any consideration whatsoever?
He should get consideration. Chris Osgood probably will get consideration because he might get in the Hall of Fame with all the wins he had, over 400 wins. The Red Wings have set such a high standard. I mean,
Which is the way it should be.
For
Right.
years. I mean, look how long it took for Sawchuk and Delvecchio and those guys to get their jerseys retired. I don't know. It depends what happens. Tom Wilson's got a voice there. It depends what happens in the new arena, how the attendance is, and things like that. I think there are people that believe Vladdy should have his jersey retired.
There is that belief.
I don't believe so.
Obviously he didn't play all that
Right.
long, and unfortunately the accident is the reason for it. I think Sergei Fedorov was immensely underrated,
Yes.
especially the second Cup year in Washington. And unfortunately, because I think how he did certain things, how he left,
Because his name wasn't Joe.
right?
He wasn't from Kirkland Lake, Ontario.
Exactly.
That's why.
I think that some fans have this beef with him, but what a talent. I mean,
Great.
if they put up number 91, I would have no problem with it, and I wouldn't have a problem with Osgood's either.
I wouldn't either. The problem, I think, a little bit is the mystique of the other night. I don't think you would have the same feel with Fedorov as you would with Lidstrom and Yzerman. And that's fair for sure, because those two are in a class above. But I don't know if everyone in there would give a standing ovation, would go nuts, would sign up to be a part of that. Fair?
Well, I think people would. I mean,
Once it's there, you wrap your head around
absolutely.
This is an organization, too, that had beloved players that were fourth. I mean, the grind line was beloved. I mean, back
True.
in the day, Aaron Ward was popular. So
whatever he hits.
he destroys. I mean, so these guys had some sort of, chokehold over the fans in a positive way. And now, unfortunately,
People love Proby in this town. People
Right.
think Proby's jersey.
Kosar, too.
Right.
When Kosar
Right.
scored that goal in Philly in '97, people went crazy. And I think people would love to reenact that now, because the love affair with this group is not the same. It's just not. Having all the guys back the other night, I said this on my show on Friday. It was awesome. I mean, that is how it should be, that you should have that kind of love for your team. Those past players that won all those championships, my gosh, are they loved in this town. And they all coming back was awesome.
And this organization also owns another team, and that, Trammell and Whitaker, people believe those jerseys should be retired, and they're going to be used by the double play combination
Which is interesting
this year.
with the Konstantinov deal. No one's touched 16, not even Brett Hull. And with 3 and 1, they're already being used. They have been used, and they'll be used again this
Can you
year.
believe Ian Kinsler is wearing Alan Trammell's number? What a disgrace.
Gary Sheffield wore it.
That might be worse. That might be worse.
I don't know.
All right,
I hope
Jeremy
Ian Kinsler
Johnson
stops talking.
We're going to stop talking. We're going to stop talking because Jeremy Johnson, our in-house comedian, hit the streets this week looking to find out who knows more about sports, men or women, in a good old battle of the sexes.
All right, thanks a lot. Hey, today we're here at the Community Rec Center of Livonia just to see who knows more about sports. It's a men versus women sports challenge. Let's go! First question, what is America's favorite pastime?
Eating.
What's America's favorite pastime?
No idea.
What is America's favorite pastime?
I'm going to say baseball.
Very good. Baseball would be correct. What is Mongolia's favorite pastime?
Mongolia.
Mongolia? Barbecue.
I was going to say barbecue.
Horse riding, I'd go with.
That's exactly right. What is Detroit's NFL team?
The Red Wings.
What NFL team represents Detroit?
Oh, the Red Wings.
What NFL team plays here in Detroit?
The Lions.
Very good. Do you know who won the Super Bowl this past year?
Denver Broncos. Oh, jeez.
The Patriots.
No. Patriots weren't even in the Super Bowl.
I'm blanking out now.
What team won the Super Bowl this year?
They were wearing purple.
They weren't wearing purple.
What were the two teams?
Oh, man. Who won the Super Bowl this year?
Seahawks.
Very, very good.
That's why I bet on. I lost. Okay, yeah, it was the other Seattle one. Okay, Seattle one.
Yeah, it still hurt. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. Do you know who won the Nacho Cheesy Bell Grande Bowl last year?
The Not So Cheesy Grande Bowl.
Who won the Nacho Bell Grande Cheesy Bowl?
Yo quiero Taco Bell. The little chihuahua.
No.
Was it a person?
No, I just made that up.
You got me.
In Livonia, Jeremy Johnson, 7 Sports Cave.
Is that what it's like in the houses for you guys?
Dude, who's the guy with the glasses? He knew nothing.
NFL favorite team in Detroit.
Red Wings.
Red Wings.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
We are only 10 minutes away from Joique Bell. He knows a lot about sports, and he knows a lot about the Lions, and we want to find out more about what's going on with him as NFL free agency, not NHL, kicks off. Let's make a move over to the bar, because that's where we're headed next.
I could use a drink after that guy with the glasses.
Speaking of which, we had a 6-pack. It's about to become a 5-pack because Stoney's been thirsty all morning. 5 questions coming up next, like what's next with this Tigers outfield situation? This is the 7 Sports Cave. The NHL trade deadline came and went this week with some major deals, some head scratchers, and the Red Wings were in need of a center. They went out and got David Legwand, swapping Patrick Eaves, a draft pick, and a prospect. If Zetterberg
Yarncroc. Yeah. Can't believe they got rid of Yarncroc.
If Zetterberg, Datsuk, and Weiss are healthy, completely different move. They go bigger. They're up in the standings, but such is life. Bottom line, fast 5 minutes. You get a minute to talk. Did they win or did they lose at the deadline?
They lost at the deadline because Yarncroc, everybody makes fun of the guy, but everybody in the hockey world says that they could have gotten much more from him. In fact, they could have gotten a Ginla for him last year at the deadline. Look, Legwand probably helps them make the playoffs, and if they make the playoffs, so what? I don't think they're winning the cup. I don't care what happened last year. And the only reason I think they lost is because everybody who I respect, Bob Duff of the Windsor Star, people like that, people who have actually seen this guy play, say that they could have gotten more than what they got from David Legwand. That's why they lost.
I'm going to say they lost for the only reason is that they need defense. Their defense just isn't good enough. You saw the other night the game that they blew at the Joe. Couldn't move people outside in front of the net. Jimmy Howard has got to be better. I'm not on this Yarncroc bandwagon because I haven't seen him play. Right. I mean, I don't go down to Grand Rapids. I don't have time. But, I mean, they have so many young forwards that I think he's expendable. But I think they needed to make one more move and get a defenseman. I think they're going to rue the day that they didn't do that. But, again, they didn't want to give up on the kids. This season's probably not going to end up working out anyway. I think people need to relax.
That was their top priority going into the deadline, getting a defenseman. Yeah. Ken Holland said it.
But they want to keep the streak alive.
Well, this is not the NBA. If you get into the, if you get in, you got a shot.
They had a shot last year.
If Zetterberg are not healthy, then they're in big trouble.
All right, one of the newest Tigers, Ian Kinsler, came into camp. all hot and bothered about his former team, the Texas Rangers, calling in an article John Daniels, his former general manager, a sleazeball.
But then he backpedaled.
A little bit.
The old out of context.
No, they were out of context. Matt,
How's
were
it
his
out of
comments out of context, or were they right on point?
No, they were stupid. Here's the bottom line on Ian Kinsler. You better produce, dude. He's a declining player that now is 31, 32 years of age. This has always been a clubhouse led by Jim Leland that has been pretty good in terms of any issues that there were behind the scenes or whatever were taken care of. They need him to lead off and keep his mouth shut. Declining player talking and running his mouth and calling a guy a sleazeball. Then we hear the audio. Then he says it was out of context. Either stick with your guns or don't. I think this guy should have kept quiet. And I thought it was way out of line and stupid.
Tony Paul at Detroit News heard the tape right away and said, yeah, those comments were right in context.
Look, it's stupid. Why would you say anything about your former team's general manager? That's ridiculous. And Matt's right. He has to play. But you know what? All people get so worked up about what guys say and what they didn't say in the media. Who cares? That stuff means nothing anyway. We get so hot. Oh, Ian Kinsler's going to ruin the clubhouse. He ain't going to ruin the clubhouse. What's going to ruin the clubhouse is that he stinks. And he's got to play better than he played the last year, that's for sure.
People already making a fuss about his batting average in the spring training. I don't buy into it. You want to wear this?
No. Spring training.
Oh, yeah, I want a picture of that.
Spring training.
Uh-oh.
People want, I'll play along.
Twitter profile
there you go.
picture.
Yeah, there it is.
Spring
loves that organization.
Spring training numbers? Come on.
Switching hats. Michigan State. March Madness on the way. We talked about it a little bit. Get the clock ready because I want to know from you, between those two teams, you could only pick one player. Who's the most important player in March in this state?
I'm going to say it's Gary Harris. And many people are going to say, well, what about Keith Appling or Stauskas with Michigan?
What about Keith Appling or Stauskas with Michigan?
MSU only goes as far as this stud, Gary Harris, takes them. He's got to have to actually carry them if they want to go far. I think Michigan's got enough guys, especially now with Morgan stepping up last night, Walton at the point, who doesn't put up big numbers, but is still important. But MSU is screwed without Gary Harris.
Same team, different player. It's Adrian Payne. Adrian Payne can be the best player out of both teams because he can shoot from the outside, he can dominate inside, but he has to play well. They have to feed him the ball. He's your stud. Feed him the ball. Gary Harris has been playing too timid. Adrian Payne, he's the guy to take the Spartans to the next level.
Keith Appling. I mean, the guy hasn't been healthy all season long. It's him for Michigan State, or they don't do anything else. Let's get back to the hat. Put the Tigers back on here. Left field situation. Yeah. Dire. Andy Dirks, who was just so fantastic anyways, is all of a sudden now shelved for 12 weeks. What the heck do they do now?
Right, many options because look, Dombrowski's done a great job, but you got to have the guys ready from the minor leagues to come up. They don't have anybody. He's got to try to make some sort of deal. I don't really know what's available. I heard somebody actually say they should bring back Brennan Bosch. Seriously? That would be a joke. Davis is going to have to learn how to hit righties. That's it. And it's DKB, Donnie Kelly, baby. That would be disaster.
Oh Brennan Bosch, are you in the Bosch camp? Was that you tweeting?
No, it wasn't actually. I actually,
he has sense when it comes to baseball.
At first, I was very concerned about this, but the more I've thought about it, the more I'm thinking, you know what? I'm more concerned about whether or not Phil Coke can get people out. To be quite honest with you, I do believe this, and Stoney is right. Dave Dombrowski has done a whale of a job. The turnaround here since he has come aboard has been great. But they don't have position players in the system that can come up and help at left field. Zeke Carrera or Trevor Crow, that's going to be a problem.
Change of pace a little bit. For our fifth topic, fifth question, it's gift-giving time. So you've got a little something for our boy Mike in the control room.
You know what? Mike Foss is a big wrestling fan.
He's the guy.
I didn't even realize. No, I'm telling you, I didn't even realize. When I had Daniel Bryan in the 105.1 studios this week, I could not believe the communication that I got back and forth on Twitter and the love that we got for having a wrestler on. The yes movement, yes. People love it. I wanted to make sure. Yeah, Travis Jackson. They had that bond for the football team at MSU. So this will go up in the cave. Daniel Bryan autographed photo.
What do you think, Mike?
I love it, Matt. I appreciate you bringing the yes movement to the sports cave. I love it.
And I appreciate your sweater. I love this sweater.
For fair product placement.
Yes, if we're pushing our stations and our shows, 97 on the ticket, Stoney and Bill, 6 to 10 every morning with Sarah right now. All right, hang it up. Now,
we've got some
hold on a second.
Yeah.
Now, he's wearing a Syracuse University radio station shirt, right? Okay.
WAER Sports, that's where I started.
It's wonderful, okay?
Yeah.
But he's slapping this guy is the yes movement. The guy who did the yes movement is his alma mater, Marv Albert. Yes! Yes! What the heck with that yes? Which yes is better? Yes or that? Come on, it's yes, and it counts.
I like Marv.
Oh, my God.
Stay tuned because we're just getting rolling here. Joique Bell, the main event. These guys are great, but we want to talk with him. A great season last year, but he's a free agent now, restricted. What will the Lions do with him? We want to find out. They better do it. Joique Bell joins us live after the break. This is the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. You look good in the Tigers hat.
Thank you.
Last season, Joique Bell ran for 650 yards and was a valuable asset in the passing game, picking up 547 yards through the air. 8 touchdowns and 1 seriously infectious touchdown dance later. Hey.
Oh, hey.
We'll never do that again, I promise. He is a free agent worthy of his first big NFL contract, and Lions running back Joique Bell joins us live in the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. Now, Joique, joining us from D.C., my friend, what have these past 24 hours been like, and what is the latest with your contract talks with the Lions?
The latest, in negotiations right now. Still trying to figure out what we're going to do. But everything is exciting right now, so I'm just down to D.C., just taking it all in, and I'll be back that way tomorrow.
Oh, so you're not in D.C. to talk to the Redskins, right?
That look says it all.
Stoney,
Yeah.
I think Joique knows not to go to the Redskins.
I know. Who wants to play with Daniel Snyder?
There we go.
Yeah.
Mike Stone, tell him, man.
What'd you say? So I'm not selling
Tell
the
him.
Redskins? No, I don't want to sell the Redskins.
Tell him.
Oh, I'm telling you. Don't go to the Redskins. Horrible
Right.
owner and lame fight song.
Lane fight song?
Yeah. Hail to the Redskins.
Joique, when do you think this will get done? When was the last time you had contact with Martin or Tom, and have you talked to Jim Caldwell at all?
I talked to Coach Caldwell probably about a week and a half ago. Nothing about the contract. Just catching up. I had Coach Caldwell my rookie year, and just sit down and talk. Talked to Martin Mayhew and Tom LeWine probably last week. Like I said, just in negotiation right now. So hopefully we come up with something and get me back here for, a couple of years. I want to finish my career here.
Now, if you do re-sign, what do you think of Caldwell and the new offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi?
Hey, I got 2 great coaches. Resume speaks for itself. Had Coach Caldwell, like I said, my rookie year. Had Coach Lombardi my second year when I was with New Orleans. All around both great guys, and guys that you would love to play for. And I think we're going to do some great things this upcoming year.
Joique, everything we're hearing from you, from the inside scoop that we all have gathered, is that you'll be back in a Lions uniform, but it's who's going to join you that everyone's kind of eager to find out. You played with Lance Moore in New Orleans. He's been a name tossed around because of his connections to Joe Lombardi. Any conversations with him about joining the Lions at all in the past couple days?
You know what? I have not talked to Lance about will be giving him a call. But Lance is a smart, savvy player. Probably not the fastest, but so precise in his routes. Kind of reminds you of a little bit of Jerry Wright, just how precision his routes are. And just a talented player. His knowledge of the game is off the charts.
How much do you pay attention to what's going on with Ndamukong Suh, and is that something that you and the guys talk about in terms of him coming back and how that would free up more money for you guys to add more pieces?
Really haven't talked about it. And that's one good thing about being a player. You don't have to worry about those things. Only thing you have to worry about is coming in, studying, and just playing football. And so, with that being said, not really haven't talked to him about it. You really can't. Those things are kind of out of our hands, and that's kind of what you pay your agent to do. You let him worry about that.
Have you spoken to LeSure at all? What's his mindset? I know he wants to play. Does he think he'll be back? Does he think he'll be traded?
Actually, I have talked to Mikel, but really, once you get away from football, it's like a mental getaway, and we have to take our minds away from it mentally. So actually, his birthday is coming up, so we might do something for his birthday. Go out and go do something. I don't know, but as far as football talk, we really haven't talked about it. As far as what's going to happen, like I said, that's out of our hands.
Joique, we got 2 more things for you here. When we sent out tweets that said you were going to join us on Twitter, buzz all over because of the Wayne State connection, obviously. So we got a question here from Josh Murdoch. Do you think the offense is going to change much with a new coaching staff, and how much do you see yourself fitting in?
Like I said, I talked to Coach Lombardi. He says he's going to be bringing a lot of some of New Orleans back to Detroit and keeping some of the stuff that we already had. And when I was in New Orleans, they used a multiple back system just similar to what we did last year. And I think I'm going to fit in better this year. I mean, if not the same this year, probably even better.
Good stuff, and a big reason why you're joining us here. Obviously, the free agency thing is something we're all interested in and see when you're going to be back. But you also announced this week you're going to have a big camp in Detroit. What's the news, and how can people find out more about your camp?
Actually, I have two. I have one camp in Detroit, which will be held beginning of June 8th, I believe. And then I also have another camp in my hometown, May 31st. So those are my two big camps. I'm teaming up with this organization who does football camps for youth all around the U.S. So I've teamed up with them, and we're having a camp in Detroit, and we'll have more info on that. I believe it's even on the Detroit Lions website. And then if you go to my website, joiquebell.com, we'll have the football camp in Benton Harbor, Michigan, Southwest Michigan, on May 31st. You can go register everything on there. Also, we have a celebrity basketball game. And also, we'll be having a cheerleading camp ran by the Detroit Pride Cheerleaders. Same day, May 31st. All the information will be on my website, www.joiquebell.com. Go on there. Look at all the events I have coming up. Everything should be up. And you want to register your child, you can go on there, www.joiquebell.com.
Hey, I didn't get the website.
Tell me how to spell my name, Mike. Mike, tell me how to spell my name.
Yo, you need to stay a little bit busy. It seems like you don't have much going on there. Joique, thank you so much, man, for joining us, and best of luck with these negotiations. It's fun to watch you play, do what you've done, and the rise has been awesome. I know everyone in Detroit is rooting for you to do so well, so thanks again, man.
Hey, hardly home, but always rapping. D-Town rapping.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's what I say. All right, well, after Joique joins us now, we look ahead to what's next, and we talked about what's next for who's going to be retired in town. We're going to talk about that moment, Thursday night, when that number 5 went up in the rafters. That's next on the 7 Sports Cave here.
Oh, I got to get out of the way.
WXYZ. Yeah, I got to watch out. Number 5. Who's that? Thursday night, Nicholas Lidstrom walked onto the ice at Joe Louis in a suit, but he was surrounded by his usual number 5. The guy who never made things about himself sat back and watched as his friends, family, and Hall of Fame teammates made everything all about Nick.
Something you want to be a part of. I mean, I would have been sad to sit at home and watch on TV.
To be a teammate, I liked Nick's for 10 years, and obviously it was coming. I'll tell you what, he handled everything, perfectly.
The best thing I can say about Nick Lidstrom is as great of a hockey player he is, he's even a better person.
He's a quiet guy to start with, but I think that his humility would be what the number 1 suit I saw.
What really stood out was the raising of the banner of his jersey. I mean, that kind of summed the whole thing. I mean, what it felt kind of gave me goosebumps as it was going up there.
You have your number up there. What kind of honor is that for a hockey player and someone here in this franchise to have their number up in the rafters?
Well, I think anytime you play your profession and you end up being hung not by the neck but by the rafters, it's a great honor.
That was the line of the night. I loved it. I think we ran that about 6-7 times on TV.
Were you scared talking to him? Because he
kicked my butt.
Oh my God!
Like that.
I mean,
he's still a rock.
It really is.
All right, there's so much we know about Lidstrom, about how he did nothing wrong, but funny moments, at least, funny memories from your interactions with him over the years.
Well, there's one that I didn't even know about. We had him on the Stoney and Bill show this week, and he told us he was Sergei Fedorov's roommate on the road. And Bill was asking about Anna Kournikova, and he said, well, when he was Sergei's roommate, in the middle of the night all the time, he'd be sleeping. All of a sudden, he'd hear Sergei be talking to Anna with the phone under the covers in the middle of the night, talking to her in Europe.
Here's what I cannot believe. After all these years, 20 years in Detroit, Hall of Fame career, arguably the best defenseman of all time, and still to this day, 70% of Detroit fans don't know what his name is.
Well, it's Lindstrom, right?
There you go.
But you know what's so funny?
It's incredible. Who put the? We got to dive into some.
He said it happens.
He said it happens in Sweden all the time.
We got to dig it up and find out where it started, where it originated. Was it?
I don't know.
Probably Gary Bettman.
Well, Thorne used to call him Nicky all the time.
Oh yeah.
But Lindstrom, where did that originate?
Let's blame it on Gary Bettman, like we usually do.
Yeah.
Keep the tweets coming. We will be
nice for him to
visiting
be
with
there
you.
on Thursday.
Yeah, that was great, wasn't it? Real class move. We'll be showing some of your tweets next. And our David Solano visits one-on-one with the smoothest cat in racing, Scott Dixon. Rev it up. We'll be right back.
Call her a super mom.
Look at how many balls you have in the air at any time.
She's helping other moms make their dreams come true.
We call it the Chief Everything Officer, the CEO.
See how you could easily be next. Monday at 5 on 7 Action News.
Okay, here's what to expect this winter. We're using road sensors and air temperatures to give you our brand new Road Weather Index. We'll put you in the fast lane.
Our winter first alert storm threats give you a snapshot of snow, ice, wind, extreme cold, and road conditions.
Lots more details. Very cool.
And we've got the latest radar technology to show you the clearest picture of rain, snow, or sleet.
We're talking major accuracy. And that's more than just a forecast. That's a promise to keep you prepared this winter with 7 first alert weather.
This is Detroit.
Welcome back, Big Shot.
This is basketball.
He was too tall to ride the ride.
And this is State of the Pistons. Don't miss your time to catch up on the latest every Sunday at noon on Channel 7.
A car hit by a truck doesn't stand a chance, and neither will you unless you call the right lawyer. Don't wait for the trucking company to offer you a settlement. They won't. Feiger Law. We didn't become one of America's best trial lawyers by accident.
When the world seems cold and unforgiving, just remember, buried under all that snow is a diamond. 2014 Detroit Tigers individual game tickets are on sale now. Call 866-66-TIGER. Tigers baseball, a new season awaits.
Scrappers.
They are tearing the city apart.
They're hitting churches, schools, homes.
There's got to be tougher laws.
There could be, but some are fighting it.
What do you say to that?
7 Action News lands in the middle of a scrapyard battle. Monday at 6 on 7.
Welcome back in the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. Brad Galli with Mike Stone, Matt Dery. We got our iPad out. We've got our phones out. We've been monitoring Twitter, social media, but the man in the middle of it all, Mike Foss, has always got the latest going on. Mike, in the control room, what's shaking, man?
Yes, sir, and we'll get to social media in just a minute, and I do want to take a moment and speak to something that's kind of close to my heart. I don't get a final thought on this show, but I want to throw something in this week. It relates to
wrestling?
Friday night. No, this is a serious matter. This is a serious matter. This Friday night, the state hockey semifinal between Granville and Detroit Catholic Central. You may have heard the story. Granville's captain, Ryan Fisher, died unexpectedly the night before the game. As a Granville High School alum, I could not be prouder of the effort those kids put forth Friday night after everything they've been through. 2 student deaths in a week. Really tough week for those kids. And I also just want to say thank you to the Detroit Catholic Central community for the class and the respect and the love, support that they showed. Awesome showing by those guys. So just a shout out to them. So with that said, let's get into social media. Obviously, Lions continue to be a huge topic here, and actually got a, here we go. We've got a trade theory here regarding Ndamukong Suh. Would you trade Ndamukong Suh to the Raiders for their number 5 and their 3rd round pick? And Brad, I know you got some more stuff, so let's send it back to you guys.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. I just don't think. You look at what he's been producing for this team, and I don't think you get that value at number 5. Some people may think I'm crazy, but also it's not going to work out. The Raiders aren't going to pick up that contract for that much money, although I guess the Raiders do a lot of crazy things.
The Raiders could do anything.
They have a lot of space.
You know what? That way you can get his love affair, Sammy Watkins, and keep your pick at 10.
Is Facebook official with you and Watkins yet?
No, not yet. Okay. I did send out a like, and we'll see, or a friend request, and we'll see if he responds. But no, look, I'm all for the Tufts movement. Trade up for Super Sammy, but you know what? In this instance with Suh, you're still on the hook $19 million on your cap. So trading him would be a mistake, and again, it weakens your defense. And we all know the Lions need to stop some people.
All right, this show is live, and so another tweet that just came in actually from one of our friends, Chris Ayat from the MLive group, just said that the Boston Globe was reporting the Tigers were shopping Rick Porcello. Dave Dombrowski in Florida right now refuting those talks. Should they have shopped him around? Should they have looked for something else? What do you make of this?
Well, maybe before they traded Pfister, they could have done that and figured out which they could have got the most for, which obviously wasn't that much for Pfister. Then, okay, so you trade Porcello. What are you getting in return? It makes no sense.
Bring him up, baby. They just signed him from AAA.
Yeah,
I know.
You know, someone called the station the other day and said, "What about trading him to Toronto for Colby Rasmus?" Now the Blue Jays just got Irvin Santana. So they're now not looking for a starter. But we know the next Sandy Koufax is in town in Robbie Ray.
Yes.
But that's a couple of years down the road. To me, give Porcello the shot at 4 and Smiley at 5. Pitching is still what wins.
By the way, Robbie Ray will pitch on Yom Kippur, though.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he like the other side?
Yeah.
Dombrowski did say, I mean, right when he made that deal for Fister, they did it to get Porcello. Yeah, what the heck? He did say to get Porcello a spot in that rotation, and this was the chance to do it, and to get Smiley an opportunity to showcase it. So I don't buy it at all.
Right, and Ray is insurance of one of your starters a year ago. The entire rotation, outside of 15 days of Sanchez being out, the rotation stayed healthy. That might not be the case this year. You have to have you have to have a 6th starter ready just in case.
Yeah.
All right, the final thought on the Nick Lidstrom front, by the way, goes to my dad because he turned to me yesterday and goes, "Did you see the picture I tweeted out?" Words I would never expect to hear from my dad, but here it is, way back when they won the Cup. There's Big Larry, Nick Lidstrom, little Brad, little Kyle, my brother.
What year was that?
Yeah, don't worry about that. No, it was
97?
It was right after they won the Cup in '97. Yeah, so it was.
What happened to you? You used to be so cute.
Oh,
look at that.
Does
your dad have any photos of you and DJ LeMahieu?
No, those are hard to come by. All right, well, what's not hard to come by is a good time anytime you hang out with Scott Dixon. The Chevrolet Detroit Belle Isle Grand Prix is back for another dual race weekend this summer. Earlier this week, reigning IndyCar champ Dixon was in town for Grand Prix night at the Palace. That's where our David Solano caught up with one of the coolest dudes in racing.
Now, as for the race in 2012, you ended up winning at Belle Isle, but a lot of people remember that here in the Motor City. But were there more potholes then than there are now on the roads across the Motor City? There's all sorts of potholes everywhere.
Yeah, my neck's a little sore from all the potholes, but it's been a brutal winter. You know, I think it's almost a record one for Detroit, and Indianapolis is very close to that as well. So, you know, you can only do so much with what you got, but, you know, Detroit Grand Prix have done a great job in prepping the track and making it better after what we had in 2012. 2012 was great for me because I won, so it didn't matter about the potholes, but just real excited for the race. Obviously, there were a few changes last year to make the racing better with the circuit, which will carry on this season as well.
We get it when it comes to racing, whether it was you winning the Indy 500 in 2008, Belle Isle 2012. How uplifting is that for you as a driver to know? When I come to the Motor City, these fans get it. They understand the significance of what you've been able to do.
Yeah, the fans are fantastic here. They're knowledgeable, they love it, they're enthusiastic. It's one of 3 double headers that we have during the season, so it's action-packed, you know, all the weekend through. But I think, you know, everybody at the Detroit Grand Prix do a great job of having something for everybody.
What are some of your other memories of Detroit? Because you've spent a lot of time here.
For me, it's always the first memories, and Detroit, you know, my first memory was back here in 1999, so I was young. I was like 18 or 19, but you know, I think tracks play a lot into what you actually do, you know, so it's how your results were and things like that. But you know, I think it is just that. It's the fans, you know, that's what makes these events, and for me, Detroit's always been a pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Dixon. Thank you.
Thanks, David. What a smooth cat, Scott Dixon.
Oh, they're talking about Solano.
Hey-o. Both of them. Very cool.
Absolutely.
Cool collected. Two good friends just hanging out there on the sideline of the Pistons game. Andre Drummond. No photobomb from Andre.
You know, Solano and Dix are going to be the starting backcourt at the next Pistons home.
Is that right? Okay, good.
Yes, they are.
Be successful.
Yes, they are.
That's good. Hey, it's been a crazy week in high school sports around this state with state championships across the board.
That's the way to tank.
So many great plays, but our friends at the State Champ Sports Network picked one for our play of the week. Wrestling championships at the Palace. Canton's Alec Pantaleo hasn't lost in 2 years, but he's getting pinned here. Malik Amin of Novi Catholic Central gets it done. 34 seconds.
Oh, do your dance, big fella.
Look at the big guy go. How about the crazy connection here? These two wrestled against each other 2 years ago. This was some sweet revenge, baby. And oh, by the way, they're going to be teammates at U of M next year. Pretty cool. Congrats to him. And congrats to all the high school athletes. Our final thoughts coming up after the break. This is the point in the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave where we tell you what we've been chewing on in the week of sports and our final commentary. First up, Matt Dery.
Chewing on?
Chewing on.
What have I been chewing on? Well, let me try to clean this up. The hashtag is TUFSS, Tufts. That is trade up for Super Sammy. The Lions, we know they want a receiver. We know the history. At number 10, it could come down to the fact that they could get Mike Evans and draft him out of Texas A&M. I say no. Hit the home run, Martin Mayhew. Get yourself Super Sammy Watkins from Clemson. This guy's a freak. He's the next Jerry Rice. He's the next A.J. Green. He's that good. Why do we always have to sit back and go, well, we couldn't get it, we wanted a 10, so we like Mike Evans? No. Go get Sammy Watkins. Trade up for Super Sammy Martin. Get aggressive. Trade your second-round pick if you have to. Trade a later-round draft pick. I'm not telling you to trade another first-rounder like next year. Don't do that. Trade up for Super Sammy. Get Watkins next to Calvin Johnson. If you're getting a receiver, get the best.
Super Sammy, how good is Super Sammy compared to Marvelous Matt?
Oh, I got the
nice
hands. I can keep
catch.
my
Those are
feet
pretty
down.
good hands.
Nice catch.
Next up with his final commentary, Mike Stone.
All right. Sammy Watkins from Clemson. We stay in that state. This past week, South Carolina head basketball coach Frank Martin was suspended for 1 game by his school for inappropriate verbal communication after cursing out one of his players during a timeout. Oh, come on. I realize the climate has changed, but should a coach really be suspended for saying, answer the bleeping question, you bleep hole? Martin is a hothead. He was at Kansas State. He's known for his language. But who hired him? You did. And I wonder if you would have suspended him if the team was 21-12 instead of 14-19. Do you think if it was football coach Steve Spurrier, he would have gotten suspended? Of course not. No way. He did not hit the player or call him a racial or ethnic slur. This is not Little League. This is not intramural, brother. This is not high school. This is big-time, big-money college basketball. Let's stop the wussification of our country before it's just too late.
Good point.
Friday. I think Frank Martin looks like Mike Valenti, by the way.
Oh, he does. Absolutely, yeah.
Long lost brothers.
Just throwing it out there.
On Friday, I had an assignment. I was told I had to go interview the president and CEO of a new professional football league within the Midwest. Truthfully, honestly, I was a little skeptical going in. My JV football coaches all played semi-pro football, and they were about as talented as a very, very, very poor man's Ryan Leaf. But when I walked into the office of the Rivals Football League in Mount Clemens and met Quentin Hines, my outlook changed completely, immediately. And here's why. Hines has set up a 6-team league to give former All-Americans and NFL training camp cuts a chance to prove they can still play. And that's something lacking in this country. Too many guys slip through the cracks. Hines is currently on the New England Patriots roster as a special teams ace. He told me coming out of college he had one of the fastest 40 times and highest verticals in the country. Great. So the Patriots signed him. But he also said some of his teammates that he saw were much more talented than he was. Now he's giving players who slip through the cracks another chance. In a country where opportunity is the name of the game, our favorite game doesn't do enough to support any type of minor league system. College is a great showcase, but here's to a league right here in Michigan doing much, much more to ensure everyone gets a fair shot to show what they can do. That is it for us in the Suburban Ford 7 Sports
What's
Cave.
your 40 time?
What's my 40 time? I ran a sub-6 in high school.
We love football.
We do
Support
love football.
Yeah. Give it a shot. Can you play? You said you played JV?
No, I played varsity too.
What position?
Tight end.
Oh, nice.
That's tight end for Alpha Casa?
Lions need a tight end.
There's your Brother Rice reference.
Brad Galli in the 6th round.
Do the Fourier dance. You're a tight end?
Next week with free agency, Stoney's back with Dave Burkett of the Detroit Free Press. Thanks for watching.